everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate Nolful, and if you're new here, I make impractical crafts and lifestyle content. I'm also a young wife and mama. I got married almost 5 years ago, and I have a 2-year-old. And if you clicked on this video, then you know that I have a second little one who is on the way. And I just kind of wanted to hop on here and talk a little bit about that. If you've been subscribed to me for a little while, you know that I kind of unexpectedly took a break from mid-May all the way through like mid-September. And I just kind of wanted to come on here and chat a little bit about that, especially because earlier this year I'd been talking about how I was super excited that I was going to start uploading more, and then I did the complete opposite of that. So let's just have a chat. I did put a warning at the beginning of this video, but this video is going to mention both pregnancy loss and birth trauma. So now that we're all on the same page about what we're talking about, let's hop right on into it. And to do that, we have to go all the way back to just after the trip that my family and I took to Disneyland in April. We went the last week of April of this year. We knew that that upcoming cycle, biological cycle that we were going to start trying for our next baby. If you didn't know, my son, my 2-year-old, was an emergency C-section. And I do have my birth story filmed. Again, that one has another content warning, but I'll leave it linked up above for you. In short, it was very traumatic. We got to the hospital, and about 15 minutes later, he was born via C-section. It happened that quickly. I sincerely hope you've never been in this situation where you're the one on the gurney who's being run to the hospital. But if you have been in that situation, you would know that it is quite scary when you're getting run into a surgery, and not only your own life is on the line, but really the life of your child. So that was very scary, and because of that, I was quite hesitant to have another child again quickly. We do want 4 children in total, so I knew I wanted more kids, but I was super hesitant to have another one anytime soon, especially because I would like to go for a VBAC, which would be a vaginal birth after C-section. In order to do that, you have to do a trial of labor, and my new OB only approves trial of labors if you have been 18 months postpartum by the time you get pregnant again. So we decided to wait a little longer than that because of our Disneyland trip. I didn't want to get pregnant at Disneyland again. We decided to time it after so that I could do trial of labor, so that I could have fun at Disneyland, and it would all be good. About 2 weeks later, I got a positive pregnancy test, and I was like, this is great. This is working out perfectly, exactly the way we wanted it. I got my positive pregnancy test the same day that I graduated from my university. So a little secret that my husband and I both knew at my graduation, and that was it. Everything was going to be perfect, except because I ended up losing that pregnancy. It was very sad, and it hurt. And so something's got to give when you still have to be a mom to a toddler and a functioning adult. Something has to give, and the thing I gave up was my hobby for the foreseeable future. But just to be honest, I really didn't have any interest in doing any of my crafts that I normally do. My lifestyle content was going to be very depressing, so I just kind of decided just to take a step back for a little while. So from there, I went on to have a couple of other medical scares throughout there. There was one point in time when we had to take my son to the doctor because I had another parent point out that he had some swollen lymph nodes, and they asked me how long have those been there? And I suddenly realized that they had been there for months, which is a symptom of childhood leukemia. So I took my child to his pediatrician, and they had to do a full panel of blood work. It was a lot of waiting to see whether or not we would have to do additional testing. Thankfully, everything came back normal. The pediatrician says what she thinks probably happened was he had COVID as a very small infant, when he was under 3 months old, and that sometimes in children, lymph nodes, they can swell, and then it kind of changes the shape of them. He's also very skinny, so she says that in all honesty, it's normal size. He's just super skinny, and so you can see it. But that was very scary for me because I was super concerned that we were going to end up having to go through chemo and the whole 9 yards of cancer, of childhood cancer. And so I was like kind of mentally preparing myself for that possibility of having to walk down that road with my son. Thankfully, that was not the case. So right around the time that I posted the video of the terrarium that I made, which does sit on my sewing machine still, my husband and I took a trip to go to like a family reunion up in Utah, and that was the cycle. That we had a cycle between the miscarriage, and then we decided we were going to start trying again for another baby. In that terrarium video, looking back at it, you can tell that I look quite sad during the video, because I was like trying to convince myself to get back into it. I was like, I've had a month. I do miss making videos. I want to like keep growing my channel. I want to hop back into it. So I did make that video, and it didn't feel right to be there. So I posted it and then kind of went quiet again until September. But in July, we did find out that I'm pregnant again. And that was super, super exciting, except for the part where I now have the life experience of just because you get a positive pregnancy test does not mean you get a baby at the end of the journey. And so during my entire first trimester, I was incredibly anxious. I ended up going to the ER 2 different times because I was sure I was miscarrying. Obviously, neither of those 2 times I was. Baby is just fine. But mentally, I was having a really, really hard time all throughout my first trimester. Also, during my first trimester, I found out that this pregnancy is considered high risk because of my C-section 2 years ago. My blood pressure like shot up after the C-section, and it has never gone back down. So I have chronic hypertension, which is not so severe that I'm not medicated for it. My OB isn't medicating me for it, but I am being monitored, and I have been labeled as a high-risk pregnancy, which means that for this pregnancy, they're not going to let me go as long as they did with Owen. And when I do a trial labor, I have to be in the hospital the entire time. But yeah, that kind of leads us to where we are today. For some reason, making this video had me quite anxious. For some reason. With Owen, we found out we were pregnant, and I made a video saying I was pregnant for my YouTube channel, like within a month of finding out. We found out that we are pregnant in July, and it is now October, and I'm finally making a video on it. So, yeah. Kind of some updates there. We know baby's gender, but I don't say it until after baby is here. I'm very excited. It also means you guys are going to be getting some baby content, like baby names, like names that we really like and won't be using. I really liked that video last time. I'm going to be doing that again. I am almost 17 weeks. Feel baby move, which is great for me. It's kind of sporadic. I can't feel baby move all the time, like as much as I would like. But every once in a while, like just now while I'm filming, I can feel my baby, which makes me feel a lot better overall, knowing that they're alive. But yeah, that's where I've been. I am back. I am super excited. I have one more Halloween craft that is almost done. It's taken me a little bit longer just because I have been still very morning sick and choosing a toddler. But I'm excited to get on into Christmassy stuff and then spring stuff, and the baby's here, so very excited. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to stick around, if you enjoy impractical crafts, lifestyle content, like vintagey stuff, vintage-ish stuff, then I am the channel for you. I try to keep it cozy, but normally it turns into more of a chaos. So if that's kind of your vibe, then I am your channel, and I am officially back. I've been posting tons of shorts. I've gotten a ton of new subscribers from the shorts, so if you made it to this video and you made it all the way through, thank you so much for being here. And thank you to all of my subscribers, woof, especially to those of you who reached out to me either on Instagram or in the comments when I kind of went quiet and then popped back up and said that they hope everything's okay. Thank you so much. I was thinking about you while I was gone, and I am happy to be here. So, with that, I am going to go to Savers and find my child's Halloween costume, and I'll be seeing you in my next video. Toodles!